What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sports Grind Season 4, Episode 13. My name's Tyler Wargo.
And I'm Mickey Perella.
And today, we haven't been on here in like a couple weeks, so now that we're coming back, we're getting closer and closer to the playoffs for NHL and NBA. So we have lots to talk about. Things are looking really close for different teams like the Grizzlies and the Warriors and even the Kings, so we'll be getting into that. But we switched it around a bit. So to start off, I want to talk about NHL. As a Ranger fan, a lot has happened. And especially going into the playoffs, a lot of stuff that has been needed to happen has happened. So let's get started. Rangers won in a shootout facing the Canadiens 4-3. I think the Canadiens played pretty well considering that they've kept it close, tied up the game, went to 2 overtimes into a shootout. I think that the Canadiens, considering their 26-33 record, facing the Rangers and the Rangers being as hot as they are, Canadiens played a really good game, yet they lost. But man of the game was Jacob Trouba with 5 shot on goals and 1 goal. He was the Rangers captain last night. He did really well. I mean, he's one of the top prospects for the Rangers. He came up from Hartford and played on the Wolfpack and moved up to the Rangers, and here he is winning shootouts. And, well, he really helped the Rangers put some points on the board. And Patrick Kane had his first goal as a Ranger, and we'll get into Patrick Kane in a second, but Patrick Kane is now a Ranger. I'll be giving my thoughts later on, but the Rangers' record is 36-19. As for the Canadiens' record, is 26-33. Rangers right now, really good. I actually did not think they had this good of a record. I haven't checked the record that the Rangers had in a long time, so seeing this 36-19 record is amazing. So the Rangers are heading into the playoffs. They are confident with heading into the playoffs, and right now, what the player picture stands for is they should be facing the New Jersey Devils if they enter the playoffs, and that is going to be one heck of a game. So yeah, my thoughts on Patrick Kane being a Ranger. I mean, I'm ecstatic. This is probably one of the greatest trades I'll ever be seeing all year, and the greatest trade I've seen all year right now. So Patrick Kane, from being a veteran on the Blackhawks and shifting gears to now playing with the Rangers. As a Ranger fan, that's the best thing that can ever happen to me, especially heading into the playoffs, which is right around the corner. So I'm very ecstatic about that. But I feel like Patrick Kane is going to miss the Chicago Blackhawks because he has played on this team for a long time. It's definitely going to be sentimental when he comes back to Chicago to play the Blackhawks. So I'm happy about that. It was definitely needed. Islanders down the Penguins 4-3 in Pittsburgh. Devils took the W 3-2 against the Capitals in a shootout. Capitals are looking like the Canadiens right now, not doing the best, but really fighting for this win, in which they didn't get, but they were very aggressive, and I think they played quite well. So they did really good. Key players for the Devils right now is Dawson Mercer, Eric Haula, and Nico Hischier. These 3 guys are the guys to look at, especially the goalie right now, Nico Hischier. As for the Wizards, it's TJ Oshie, who is a former St. Louis Blue. Trevor Van Riemsdyk, he also played phenomenal. I think him and Oshie were the only guys to actually move the puck around. And Darcy Kuemper, which this guy was definitely needed in the shootout for being a goalie for the Wizards. But it's not, Capitals. It's not really about the Capitals, though. It's about the Devils right now. This team right now, they are amazing right now. They are 42-19 right now with their record. They're insane. So seeing them head into the playoffs and having their possibility of playing the Rangers in the playoffs, as a Ranger fan, it kind of scares me, but I'll talk about them both. Tyler Mayer sealed the deal in shootout. He was the reason why the Devils won by a point in shootout. And let's get to the main question. Devils or Rangers? As a Ranger fan, I want to be realistic as well. I think the Devils are definitely going to surpass the Rangers. They had one heck of a season. They carried it from the first half to the second half, and it's going to be a very good game, but I think the Devils are going to hang on and beat the Rangers. But it's going to be good considering that Patrick Kane is now on the Rangers and facing players like Hischier and all those players. It's going to be quite a game. Oilers took down the Bruins 3-2 in TD Garden. Not the end of the world. Oilers are not that good, but the win against the Bruins was quite a good win to have. And as for the Bruins, they are definitely sealing the deal and heading into the playoffs. They're one of the greatest NHL teams right now to look at, so keep an eye out on that. So we're going to shift gears, move on from NHL, and we're going to talk about MLB Spring Training, which is still happening. We have MLB regular season right around the corner in April. I'm excited for that. And, I want to get your thoughts on the games that happened, because as much as spring training is not really important, I think it's really crucial for these prospects to really show who they are.
Definitely.
Because a lot of these players come from minor leagues, prospect, even college, just to play with their team that they want to play with. So
yeah, it's their audition, really, to show the world what they can do and show their teams how good they can be.
So, and it shows us, for those that don't watch minor league baseball, to know who's next in the future, like for the future prospects.
Definitely.
So, Phillies won by 1 facing the Orioles 6-7. Red Sox defeated the Yankees 11-7. Man of the game was Narciso Crook. He had 3 RBIs and 2 home runs. Where did this guy come from?
Not sure.
Have you heard of him?
No, I've not. He's kind of just came on the scene and had a huge game. Really impressive.
And he's only been playing 3 games, so considering that, it's been the pressure's on him playing in front of a big crowd on MLB Network, there's a lot of pressure riding on him, but considering that in his second, third game, he's been showing up. So, and I'm going to get to this guy now, but I really want to know your thoughts because we haven't really talked about this prospect. He's a Yankee prospect, and his name is Anthony Volpe. What is your thoughts on Anthony Volpe?
Well, Anthony Volpe has been a guy that has been around for a while, but he is a guy that Yankees fans want to dream on. A shortstop prospect, a lot of people compare him to another Yankees prospect named Derek Jeter, who went off and did great things. He's a good hitter, good defender. He's got some power. He's good at everything, basically. There's not really a trait that he's bad at. He's really well-rounded in that regard. He hit well at AA last year. He's 22 years old. He's really young. He's still finding out himself. He really has a shot to become the Yankee shortstop this season, but he also has some competition. Oswald Peraza is another young guy. But Volpe's really a high-level guy that should help the Yankees very soon.
And we've seen players like Anthony Volpe. Anthony Volpe played on Somerset Patriots this past season, and, well, they didn't even bother putting him in AAA. They moved him right from AA to the New York Yankees team. So that just shows you how good of a player he is with hitting, with fielding, and just all around having the chemistry with the team. He is definitely a Yankee. You look at him like Aaron Judge. He's a keeper that the Yankees want to have. So my thoughts on him, he's great. I love seeing him play. I've seen him play in Somerset. He's a great guy. So I just feel like big things are coming for him. And like you said, Derek Jeter. Yeah, he is the next Derek Jeter when it comes to being on the Yankees. What's your thoughts on the Yankees heading into the regular season? How are they looking for you?
Right now, the Yankees have some injury issues that's going to hurt them. Carlos Rodon is going to begin the year on the injured list with a forearm strain. Frankie Montas had to go undergo shoulder surgery earlier this year. And also, a guy like Harrison Bader, who's going to play center field for them, a really good defender, really speedy guy. He's going to start on the IL with an oblique issue. So with all those issues coming down for the Yankees, I'm not sure where this leaves them right now. They're going to be banged up to start the year. They're still going to be a good team. It's the question about how good. And obviously the Red Sox, they face the Yankees. How do we feel about them, too? I think the Red Sox, are going to be okay, but I don't think they're going to be great this year.
They lost their players. They lost Bogarts, so they have to adapt to that. They have JT, which they're making smart. I think the Red Sox right now are in a better position than the Yankees when it comes to injuries and getting wins because at least they can keep their players healthy. And considering that they're not using their full starting lineup, like they're not using JT in spring training. They're not using players like Rafael Devers. They're benching them, so they're being smart with their players.
Yeah.
And that's not what the Yankees are doing. So,
no.
Dodgers took the L facing the Athletics 1-0. Athletics, they're all over the place, although they did make some good pickups in the offseason. Key players for the Dodgers in terms of prospects are Miguel Vargas, who he didn't really play that well last night, but I think he's still a good player to look at. James Outman, who was great. He wasn't playing last night, but he's all around a good player.
Yeah, I like James Outman. He's a speedy guy, a guy that can hit a little bit. He's on the older side on the prospect range, like 25, 26 years old, but he's going to be a really good player for them.
Yeah, I think James Outman's good. He can also play infield and outfield. I mean, he's a position guy. I mean, he can go from center field to left field to right. He can play all the positions in the outfield. But most importantly, they could put him at first base and second base if they really want to. I mean, it's not going to – he always is learning new positions. And Devin Mann. Devin Mann's another good guy. I mean, Devin Mann, he's a power hitter. He's the guy that you want to get runs on the board. He could play third base, first base, but if the Dodgers really were going to use him in the regular season, it would be for the DH. So, key players for the A's. This kind of shocked me, but Ryan Noda recently got traded to the A's organization.
He was a Rule 5 draft pick, which means that he has a shot to make the opening day roster for Oakland. And if he doesn't get make the opening day roster, he gets sent back to the Dodgers, their minor league system. That's how the whole thing works. But yeah, Ryan Noda, a guy that performed well in the Dodgers minor league system last year. That's kind of why the A's were intrigued by him. He's got an opportunity because the A's stink. They don't really have anywhere playing first base right now. He's a guy that could really take over that spot.
Yeah, Ryan Noda, I mean, He was on the Dodgers for quite some time.
Yeah.
Like, he was. I remember
It's really his opportunity that the Dodgers, because they've been so good with so many young players, the A's can finally take one of those players who were blocked in that system and give him an opportunity to thrive. This is a great opportunity for Noda to really show what he can do, but he has to perform or he'll be back with the Dodgers again.
And not just A's, but any other teams looking at players like Ryan Noda, because they need a first baseman. Players are constantly getting injured. So seeing Ryan Noda right now in that farm system, people want to really mess around and play for a little bit, play for money and risk their money for a guy like Ryan Noda. Aldemus Diaz is another good guy. This guy's been all over the place. I think he
St.
played
Louis,
on
Houston. He's been around.
He's been around. I remember he was a Red, actually, and he played for the Tennessee Smokies, which is Double-A for the Cubs. He's bounced around, and considering that when you got a player like Diaz bouncing around in the league, I mean, that shows you that he is willing to work and willing to build the chemistry with these different teams.
Yeah, and it also shows that teams like him. Teams like having him around.
So, Calvin Coker is another good guy. This guy is a relief pitcher for the A's. I think he's okay. Like I said, relief is a huge thing in the MLB, considering that relief pitchers are the one thing in MLB to be traded all over the place.
Yeah,
so
because they're very replaceable, and they're also very volatile because the way of that position works. Sometimes they perform, sometimes they don't. You kind of just need to push them in, push them out, and see what you get.
Yeah, and so the last question I have is why, well, this is a question for me, but I would like to hear your insight. Why can't the Dodgers win in spring training? I mean, I know it's spring training, it doesn't matter, but with the prospects they have who really want to show up, why aren't they getting the wins?
I don't think they're just playing their good players enough. I mean, they're just resting them, getting ready for the regular season, and then putting some of their prospects who aren't ready yet into the spotlight where teams are starting to, put their better players. I don't think it's a huge big of a deal. I just think it's just how the Dodgers do things, and I don't think winning in spring training really means anything to them, so they'll just go how they feel.
I'm just surprised because, the players that played in Oklahoma City, like Miguel Vargas, James Outman, Devin Mann, like they were amazing in Oklahoma City.
That's true.
Crushing.
The Dodgers do have a good farm system, and them not performing is a little strange, but you know what? It's spring training.
I saw these last couple games, and all I seen was just them putting college guys in. The guys that have not even stepped into minor league baseball. It's just guys from straight out of high school and college that the Dodgers just spent money on. So I think it's not a big deal, but I'm very shocked considering that they have a good farm system. They just can't show up. So we now take the NBA, which is the final thing that we want to touch on. Jazz own the Magic in Amway Center, 131-124. Jazz's record is 32-35. Magic record is 27-40. Forget about the Magic. Let's look at the Jazz here. They've had it, and what I found kind of shocking is the second half of the season, what happened to them? I mean, their players haven't showed up. They had a good first run of the season. Weren't they like top 5 in their Western Conference, and now they're falling backwards? What's your thoughts on that?
The Utah Jazz were a really, really weird team. Going into the year, people thought they were going to stink because they traded away Rudy Gobert. They traded away Donovan Mitchell, and they were going to be not a good team.
Yeah.
Then they surprised everyone. They were a good team. Lauri Markkanen, who had a lot of potential with Chicago, but didn't really, blossom until he comes to Utah. And they had Mike Conley and more some pieces like that, and they were winning games. But you know what came at the end of the day? They're not really as good as what their record says. They were kind of a faker. They were a fake team. They were winning games because they were just winning games just because teams weren't really expecting. They were expecting to beat them, and the Jazz, who were gritty, would beat the teams. But now people know that they're here, and now they're beating them. And I really think that they're just a fake team. And I don't think they can surpass a team like Minnesota, because with Minnesota, they've actually added to their team. Gobert has played better. Karl Anthony Towns has played well. Anthony Edwards has played well. Mike Conley, who is a huge addition to them at the trade deadline, and he's a better fit for them than D'Angelo Russell, who's in with the Lakers now, is a good fit for them. And I just don't think that Utah can surpass Minnesota.
Minnesota is very underrated right now, and we have not heard any talk about Minnesota. But I'm going to counter-argue with you for a second. I think Jazz will surpass Minnesota, mostly because there's still 3-4 weeks left of NBA.
Yep.
They can still pick themselves up. I mean, they've played good with or without, their former players like Donovan Mitchell. They can still step up to the plate. They got young guys. They got talent. They can work in the paint. They can shoot. It's not like they can't. I think they just got to fix some things up defensively and just stay healthy. I think they can stay in front of Minnesota, but they can't. They will not get the first place spot, though. So That's what I thought. That's what I think about it. But, yeah, I think what really hurt the Jazz was the last couple games. They did have a 4-game losing streak, which ended facing the Magic. And, well, I'm not surprised. The Magic aren't good. This was just an easy win by them. But, I mean, if it wasn't teams like the Magic that they would be facing, they could have went on a 5-game losing streak and really stepped away from the Minnesota Timberwolves. Nets lose to the Bucks, 113-118. Oh, here we go again. Nets, Bucks. We always see these teams play. These teams get looked at way too much, and really, they're not the teams to look at anymore. As much as people put the spotlight on the Nets and the Bucks, they don't deserve it, in my opinion. They don't deserve that recognition. Kings stung the Knicks in Sacktown, 117-122. What a game this was. The Knicks, they lost by 2 points. They had it. They kept it through all the way until the last minute, and they blew it, and they lost. But the Kings, though, I don't even hear a lot about their players besides Sabonis. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, the Kings have been very impressive this year. Him and De'Aaron Fox have been their 2 go-to guys this year. And I think that with a new culture, a new head coach, a new way of playing defense, a new mindset has helped this team a lot.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the Kings, look out for them. I could see them going far in the playoffs. But it's going to be questionable because when it comes to playoffs and, 7-game series, 5-game series, it really comes down to just who shows up in that game and who's going to actually want to give in their all, because there's a lot of teams that really want it other than the Kings. I think the Kings, they're there, but they can definitely be surpassed by teams like the Grizzlies, which we're going to get to. Which we're going to get to now. So the Grizzlies destroyed the Warriors 131-110. I saw this game and how it looked from my perspective of this. The Grizzlies had it in them. The first quarter, they were up by a lot. They were up by 20 points on the Warriors. I mean, the Warriors are very weird right now this time of year because they're healthy. They're healthy. Normally when the Warriors aren't that good like they are now, they have players like Draymond Green and Klay Thompson injured, but they're all here and they're not showing up. They're not making any buckets. But the Grizzlies right now, they are insane right now. They're in 3rd place in the West, and as for the Warriors, they're in 6th place in the West. Grizzlies are a type of team that would really want it and bring it in the playoffs. They did not they didn't miss a shot. Like, I did not see them miss a shot the first half of the game. Second half, they were missing some shots, but the first half, I don't even remember them missing anything. They were draining them all in. So, man of the game was Steph Curry. Now, the reason why I say Steph Curry is mostly because this is the only guy that was doing something on the court. I mean, he had 29 points, 4 assists, 7 rebounds. This guy carried. Other than that, though, as for the Grizzlies, they all worked together and they did not miss their shots. Now, a question for you is, can the Grizzlies surpass the Kings in the Western Conference? And when it comes down to playoffs?
No. Here's why. Ja Morant is out. That is huge for them. We don't know when he's going to come back because he's dealing with his off-the-field problems. And he's their best player and one of the best players in the league. I don't know how you can live right now. And they're going to have to rely a lot on Jaren Jackson Jr. They're going to have to rely a lot on Dillon Brooks, who has been inconsistent this year. They have to rely a lot on other players because they have other injuries, like Brandon Clark, their backup center, tore his Achilles. He's done for the year. You got Steven Adams, who just got hurt. They're really hurt. They're missing players. I don't think they can surpass the Kings without this healthy roster.
I don't know. I can...
Without Morant? Without Morant?
I'm going to surprise you here.
No,
I'm going to get a lot of backlash.
You're not saying this.
I'm going to get a lot of backlash here, but...
He's wrong.
Dude.
He's wrong.
Did you not... I get the Warriors are bad, but did you not see that last game? Did you not see their previous games? They have been balling on these teams without Morant. Dillon Brooks has been insane. They got young guys. They got Jaren Jackson, who was insane in the paint. I think they can do it.
Dillon Brooks was good
He's
against
good.
the Warriors because Draymond was in his ear the whole time, man.
And we're going to get to that, but... I just feel like the Grizzlies can surpass the Kings, mostly because it's only one player that they don't have. It's only one player that they don't have, and they're making all their shots. Their defense is great.
See, you're a homer because you're wearing the hat. That's why you're saying this.
No, I'm not kidding.
Come on, man.
Who knows?
You can't be serious.
All right. What players besides 3 guys on the Kings do you really think are surpass the entire Grizzlies?
Okay.
Who the Grizzlies have chemistry.
I'll give you 3 guys. I'll give you 3 guys on the Kings. All right. You got Sabonis. You got Fox. You got Harrison Barnes. Done.
Yeah,
Those
but
3
as
guys.
for the Grizzlies,
without Morant on the Grizzlies, who's your top 2 players?
There's chemistry. There's chemistry.
But there's chemistry on the Kings.
We're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see, because I just feel like the Grizzlies can show up. They are
Without John
good.
Morant.
They don't.
You're telling me they're going to show up without John Morant, without Steven Adams, their center, and without
I think
Brandon
they're bringing
Clark?
John Morant back when it comes to playoff time.
I have no idea when he's going to come back.
I think he's coming back playoff time.
Well, I hope.
I think they're gonna ban him for the next 2 weeks or something like that.
2 weeks.
Yeah, well, did you not? They didn't charge him with anything. He's coming back.
All right.
He's coming back in playoff time. He's gonna show up.
You're home,
and right
man.
now,
You're wrong on this
their chemistry right now. They're all making consistent shots. They all had literally last night. They all had 25 points.
All right. Before we move on, I'm just gonna say this. We've done this show for 70 episodes. This is the worst take you've ever said. I'm just saying this. Worst
I
take
just feel
in
like
history of the show. That's what we're saying.
Well, I would like to hear your reaction when they can actually show up and they actually start making buckets. You don't know. They got some key players. They're young. They can shoot shots. I mean, I'm sorry, but the last couple games I've seen of the Grizzlies without John Morant, they have been cooking on the three-point line.
I just watched the Kings.
They have been cooking on the three-point line.
I just watched the Kings destroy a red-hot Knicks team and lose.
The Knicks are terrible.
They're not terrible. They're
R.J. Barrett, get out of here.
No, I'm talking about Randall and Brunson. They're really good this year. I'm sorry, they are. They're averaging 25 a game. I'm sorry. The Knicks have been good. They're 5th in the East. They're not terrible.
I cannot wait to come back
really
on
good.
here. I can't wait to come back on here and see the Grizzlies surpass.
No, they're
the
not.
Kings.
They're not.
Oh, and hold on. We don't have. I'm actually. Yeah. Oh my. Do you see this? 39 and 26, 39 and 26, and you're going to tell me that the Grizzlies are not going to surpass the Kings?
They're not.
They literally have the same record, 39 and 26, and you're going to sit here and say the Kings are
because they don't have John Morant.
If they were so bad without John Morant, they would not have 39 wins.
Whatever.
They would have 35 wins.
We're moving on. This is an all-time bad take.
I'm just saying. Do you see the record right there, or whatever? All right. Anyway, the last thing we have, the last question I want to ask. Is thoughts on Dillon Brooks and Draymond Green. They were getting in each other's ear on Twitter, and now they were getting in each other's ear in the game.
Yeah, I saw the press conference that Dillon Brooks made. Yeah. Anyways, Draymond is always a loudmouth. He always says what he feels. This isn't really surprising. And also, Dillon Brooks is another guy that, if you get on his bad side, he'll talk about it. This is just two guys that just like to talk.
They always have beef on the team, whether it's, it doesn't even have to be Dillon Brooks or Draymond Green. They're going to beef with anyone who gets in their face and anyone who wants to foul them.
Dillon Brooks won this one because they destroyed the Warriors.
Yeah.
They won. He won that.
I agree. I think Draymond Green should, chill out. I still think he's still a little red hot after winning the championship, and he's kind of upset now because he knows that he's not going to win a championship. I hate Draymond Green. I hate the Warriors. I think Dillon Brooks definitely won this one, especially after last night's game. So what a heated conversation. I just can't wait until I mean, in the end, it's going to come down to what we see going forward. I mean, they're both tied. So the moment the Grizzlies surpass the Kings with their record, I win this argument.
Yeah, we're going to talk about this again. This is
but
happening.
The moment you see 41 in 27 or something like that, and the moment you see 40 in 27, and the Grizzlies get second place, I win.
Kings are getting second place.
But I'm just saying, you never know. If they surpass them, I win this.
All right, Homer. All right.
Anyway, okay, that was a great talk, actually. I actually really like that. And, normally me and Mickey agree on a lot of things, but that was the one thing that, we disagreed on. But
worst take in the history of the show.
That's your opinion. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning into Sports Grind Season 4, Episode 13. What a great show. My name's Tyler Wargo.
And I'm Mickey Varela.
Thank you guys for tuning into Sports Grind Season 4, Episode 13. And yeah, bye.